One of the driving forces behind my interest in criminal law has always been people. People are endlessly fascinating, their interests, their lives, their circumstances, and I really enjoy working with working people. Often in my business, we come across people who have made one mistake in their lives, and that has put them in a situation which they never expected to be in. This occurred in a case I was involved with involving a collision between a truck, semi-trailer, and a train just outside Kerrang. It was a complex and difficult case. It was obviously a great tragedy, and my client, who was the truck driver, expected nothing more on that day than to head off and do his normal day's work. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. It was a case that gained a lot of publicity. In fact, the Premier of the day gave a press conference, and although he perhaps didn't mean to reference my client in particular, he said that as a result of this, the government was going to crack down on cowboy truck drivers. Of course, my client wasn't a cowboy. He was just a normal, ordinary working person. As it turned out in this case, there was no allegation of alcohol, no allegation of drugs, no allegation of bad driving, no allegation of speeding. It was a complex case, and we had to speak to a number of experts and a number of local people as well. And we also had to reconstruct the accident through our own experts, issuing a number of subpoenas for the production of material from government departments that had some involvement with this particular crossing. As a result of all of that, what we could show the jury was that not that our client was grossly negligent, but that this was a terrible accident. In fact, possibly an accident that was waiting to happen, because that material showed that a number of drivers and a number of train drivers had warned the departments that this was a really dangerous crossing. It was a crossing that had had a number of close calls in the years and months leading up to this particular accident. Ultimately, we could show the jury that he was just an ordinary person, that this was a dangerous crossing, and this was not a criminal act, but rather a tragic accident. And he was acquitted of all the charges. He was supported in that case by his family, by his friends, by his union, and by his employer. And we had the privilege of also supporting him in this very dark time for him, but ultimately one that I think the right and just outcome occurred. This was a case that was very important to me and remains important to me. It was an example for me of what you can do as a lawyer, how you can really bring your skills and your experience to bear upon the facts, because interestingly, in a way, the facts of this case weren't in dispute. We all agreed the accident had occurred. We'd all agreed about the general circumstances of it. It was really the nuance and the question which often arises in criminal cases: is this an accident or is this a crime? Has the person engaged in behaviour which we say should be punished by criminality, or is this a tragic accident that's occurred within the community? This was a case that caused me a great deal of stress, but also a great deal of satisfaction. There's nothing better than being able to look at a situation, to be able to assist and support a client who's facing, one of the worst times of their lives, no doubt. And to see the outcome, to see his relief, the relief of his wife, their ability to go home and get on with their lives which will never be the same, of course, but to get on with their lives in some way was very satisfying from a professional and a personal point of view.